This week, we're looking at yet another descendant of the good and apparently very busy Dr. Aso, Hojo Ren, a rider from one of Dr. Aso's branch families who has an almost crippling fear of women. Now, without further ado, let's head on in. 1. Ren is 23 years old in Fatal Frame 5, which means he was born in 1983. This would have made him only 3 years old by the time the Himuro Mansion incident was taking place. This also makes him quite a bit younger than his known relatives, with Aso Misaki being born in 1972 and Aso Yu being born in 1964. That's at least one main character each decade. 2. The character Ren uses for his first name is that of Lotus, generally pronounced as Hasu. The lotus is a symbol of strength, purity, and rebirth, which may tell us some of what they were aiming for with Ren's character. 3. His last name, Hojo, uses the characters for releasing a captive animal. The devs have stated that they gave him this name from the Hojo-e festival, where fish and turtles are returned to the sea and birds are released back to the sky in order to give thanks to life. Why would they give him this name? Well, his story starts with him assuming that he has killed someone, but in the end, he ends up saving someone instead. It's representative of his journey. 4. The devs have also stated that Ren's family, the Hojos, are from the Toyama area. This is possibly because the Toyama area actually has a large number of people with the surname Hojo. But it also means that Dr. Aso's descendants have travelled quite a bit, as this is quite some distance from where the events of the games take place, up in Japan's northeast. 5. And somewhat related, it's in one of Ren's notes that he mentions spending some time with the Aso family on Mount Kagiroi when he was a child. It was around this time that he came into contact with a lock of white hair, obviously not knowing that it belonged to Shiragiku. This then caused Ren to start dreaming of her, and the ritual she took part in as a child where Dr. Aso, Ren's ancestor, cut a lock of her hair before she fell into a box full of black water. However, the dream was so real that Ren started to wonder if maybe it was a repressed or lost memory from his own childhood, and left him wondering if maybe he had actually killed that girl. 6. It's also this moment where Ren develops a sort of fear of women, as before Shiragiku fell into the box of black water, she glanced into young Aso Kunihiko's soul. Because Ren experienced this in first person in his dream, it was like Shiragiku was looking deep into his own soul, and this made him grow up with a fear of women looking at him. In essence, seeing him for what he truly was, which in his mind was, potentially, a murderer. 7. As Ren was being developed, he was initially going to have a fear of all women. A fear so deep that he couldn't even look at them unless it was through a screen or camera lens. But as the story developed, this part of his character was mostly phased out, and it's generally just the shrine maidens who can see into his soul that he truly fears. 8. But going back even further, Ren was actually going to be the original protagonist for a previous Wii U Fatal Frame title that was scrapped and instead reworked into Maiden of Blackwater. In this previous version, Ren was a man caught in a ghost marriage curse, and he would encounter 5 beautiful ghosts, from which he would have to choose one. The scene in which Ren sees all of the ladies dressed up as brides is pretty much the only thing that remains of that former story. 9. Fatal Frame 5 is the first game to give us official heights, and we're told that Ren is 173 centimeters. Being that the average height for men in Japan is around 171 centimeters or so, that makes Ren just slightly taller than average. 10. During the events of the game, Ren lives in the Hojo residence. This is described as the Hojo family's second home, presumably so they have somewhere to stay close to the main Asol family when they visit them. During Fatal Frame 5, only Den and Kagamiya Dewey live there while Den works on his book. 11. In Japanese, Den is voiced by Suzuki Tatsuhisa, who again has been active for several decades now and has been involved in all sorts of works. Final Fantasies, JoJo's, Ultraman, Attack on Titan, the list goes on and on. Suzuki also voices Dr. Asol in the same game. 12. In English, he's voiced by Joseph May, who has also done a decent amount of video game work over the years, including Dead Space, Xenoblade Chronicles, and Dying Light, amongst others. 13. Den is described by the devs as being careless, and someone who tends to act on instinct rather than thought. Like most of the men in the series, he also possesses no spiritual abilities. But unlike other men in the series, he comes equipped with a powerful camera obscura thanks to his ancestor, one that can fire off 4, or 8 when upgraded, shots in rapid succession. This camera is said to have an unusual design compared to others Dr. Asol created, but due to it sitting around in boxes for over 100 years or so, it's in rather bad shape by the start of the game. 14. Den is often described as rather messy and, quite frankly, hopeless at cleaning and household chores. This is a large reason why Dewey, his assistant, lives with him, as Dewey is quite good at organising, and not just notes. Because of this, he tends to often lose things and needs Hisoka's help in tracking them down with her shadow reading skills. 15. In keeping up tradition with much of the series, Nen is yet another male character mistaken for someone else by a spirit in the game. Just like Mafuyu and Kirie's lover in 1, and Kei and Akito in 3, in this game, Shiragiku initially confuses Den with his ancestor, Dr. Asol, and gets upset that he didn't return for her. The wedding celebrant also refers to him as Dr. Asol when they meet. 16. The first thing we hear Den say in the game is, "That dream again," after his dream of Shiragiku. The last thing we hear him say is, "Oh come on, I'm not going anywhere. Just trust me." He's also, on that note, one of the last 2 characters we see in this game, as the final cutscene is of him looking at Dewey lying on the couch. 17. Den has 4 endings to choose from. In Love After Death, Dr. Asol possesses his descendant's body and finally embraces Ulse, confessing his love to her. In Alone in the Casket, Ulse accepts that she and Dr. Asol were not meant to be and vanishes, leaving behind one last photo. In Cherry Blossoms, Den defeats Shiragiku and she shows him images from her childhood, before telling him that he can move on. She's happy she got to see him one last time. And in the Reliquary, Den is pulled into Shiragiku's casket and she asks him to stay with her forever. However, she then rejects him and tells him to live a long life, as she will never be able to die. Because Den survives all 4 endings, this makes him the first male character in the series to do so. 18. We don't know a whole lot about Den's life when he was younger, but one of his school friends, Kazuya, also plays a small part in the game when Nen asks him to find an album of post-mortem photos for him. The English notes for him tell us that he and Nen have been friends since high school, while the Japanese only notes that they have been friends since their school days. At any rate, Kazuya occasionally does research for Den, even now, but it seems that not a whole lot of people like him because of his narcissistic tendencies. Hisoka, who especially doesn't like him, even remarks that she finds it odd that Den is friends with him, as they are so different. 19. In the original Wii U version of the game, Den comes with one bonus outfit called Student, but is basically just Dr. Asol's outfit from his flashbacks. You get this after completing the Love After Death ending. In the remaster, he still has that outfit, unlocked the same way, but now he also has 2 more. The Groom outfit, which you can buy in-game after the first drop, and Amakura Kei's outfit from Fatal Frame 3. This you get just by buying the Digital Deluxe Edition. 20. In the Dolgetsu Isle Reminiscences, which is part of the book you get for buying the premium box of the Fatal Frame 4 remaster, we're given a pretty thorough history of Dr. Asol, and Den himself leaves a note in it, remarking that he hopes that Dr. Asol didn't die, but rather crossed over to the invisible world that he loved so much and spent his life trying to capture. And that is 20 facts about yet another of Dr. Asol's descendants. But what did you guys think of this one? Are there any other characters or games you'd like me to explore? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.